Hello everyone, now let us discuss the significance of polymorphism in pre-formulation studies. So as we all know, many physicochemical properties vary with the internal structure of the solid drug. They include melting point, density, hardness, crystal shape, optical properties and vapor pressure. And during the pre-formulation, it is important to identify the polymorph that is stable at room temperature, and to determine whether the polymorphic transitions are possible within the temperature range used for the stability studies and during the processing, that is during drying, milling and compression process. It is important to identify the polymorph which is stable at room temperature and to determine whether the polymorphic transitions are possible or not within the temperature range which is used for stability studies and also during the processing. As we all know, the polymorphs are of two types, enantiotropic polymorphs and monotrophic polymorphs. The enantiotropic polymorphs are when one polymorph can be reversibly changed to another form by varying temperature or pressure. Then that is called as enantiotropic polymorph. Whenever the change from one form to another form is reversible, that kind of polymorphs are called as enantiotropic polymorphs. The example is sulfur. And monotrophic polymorphs are when one polymorphic form is unstable at all temperatures and pressures. In other words, whenever the transition takes place in one direction only, that is, for example, from metastable to stable form, and that kind of polymorphs are called as monotrophic polymorphs. The example is glycerine stearates. Coming to transition temperature. Whenever you need to correlate the polymorphs, there is no general way of relating the enantiotrophy and monotrophy to the properties of polymorphs except by their transition temperature. So now what is transition temperature? At a specified pressure, usually 1 atmospheric pressure, the temperature at which two polymorphs, have identical free energies is called as its transition temperature. And at that temperature, both polymorphs can coexist and they have identical solubilities in any solvent as well as identical vapor pressures. For that reason, the transition temperature is very important. At transition temperature, both polymorphic forms can coexist and they have identical solubilities in solvent as well as they have identical vapor pressures. The enantiotropic pairs can always be interconverted in the solid state by changing the temperature. In case of enantiotropic pairs, the transition temperature is real, whereas the monotrophic pairs, they can never be interconverted in the solid state by merely changing the temperature. The liquid or solution state is needed. In case of monotrophic pairs, the transition temperature is hypothetical. So in enantiotropic pairs, the transition temperature is real, whereas in case of monotrophic pairs, the transition temperature is hypothetical. The interconversion may also occur due to pressure changes. Not only due to temperature changes, the polymorphic interconversion may also occur due to pressure changes. The examples are chloramphenicol palmitate. It can exist in three crystalline forms, polymorphic forms, form A, B and C, and it also exists in amorphous form. Aguirre and co-workers, they investigated the relative absorption of polymorphic form A and B from oral suspensions. The serum levels have increased substantially as they increase the percentage of form B polymorph. The form B, the one with greater solubility. So by increasing the percentage of form B, the serum levels of the drug have also been substantially increased. And the transition temperatures of these polymorphs are obtained by Van 't Hoff's plots of solubility versus reciprocal of absolute temperature. and the noted transition temperatures of form A and C is 50 degrees centigrade, and for form A and B it is found to be 88 degrees centigrade. And from that, the form A is the stable form at room temperature, at a temperature less than 50 degrees centigrade has been recorded. So, Van 't Hoff plots are always susceptible to large errors. For that reason, direct measurement of transition temperature is required. The most direct means of determining transition temperature is the microscopic observation of samples held at constant temperatures. But the demerit of this direct determination of transition temperature is these solid state and solid vapor and solid transition usually occur very slowly owing to their large activation energies and slow nucleation. Because the transitions are very slow, it is a disadvantage to determine the transition temperature with microscopic observation. But there is a remedy. To facilitate the conversion rate, a single polymorph or a mixture of forms can be granulated in bridging solvent at various temperatures. One more important point is the drug should only be sparingly soluble in the bridging solvent so that solvate formation does not occur. And these experiments are conducted quickly with polarizing microscope, or the samples are stored in sealed containers at controlled temperatures and periodically examined by other suitable analytical methods. Coming to the determination of relative stability of polymorphs. The difficult task in the study of polymorphism is the determination of their relative stability of metastable polymorph and the prediction of its rate of conversion within the dosage form. For various dosage form, various factors they govern the stability. In case of suspensions, drug solubility within the vehicle is a variable factor. The presence of nucleation seed for stable form is also a factor. Temperature, agitation, the particle size, all these are the factors in case of formulation of suspensions. Coming to the examples of drugs which exhibit polymorphism are corticosterone acetate. The corticosterone acetate, it exists in at least 5 different forms, 4 of which are unstable in the presence of water and they change to stable form. And this transformation is accompanied by appreciable caking of the crystals. Only one form is stable and rest of the 4 forms are unstable in the presence of water. And this instability, it can lead to caking, and hence before the preparation of suspension all the crystals must be in the stable form of corticosterone acetate as a precautionary basis. Heating, grinding under water and suspension in water are all the factors that affect the interconversion of different corticosterone acetate forms. And such transformation of metastable to stable form can be prevented or inhibition by dehydrating the molecular environment or by adding viscosity building agents such as macromolecules like polyvinyl pyrrolidine (PVP), carboxymethylcellulose (CMC), pectin or gelatin that prevent such a conversion by adsorbing onto the surface of the crystals. The next example is theobroma oil or cocoa butter. The preparation of suppositories of theobroma oil or cocoa butter. Because it consists mainly of a single glyceride, the theobroma oil, it consists of a single glyceride. It melts to a larger degree over a narrow temperature range, that is within the range of 34 degrees centigrade to 36 degrees centigrade. It melts rapidly. The theobroma oil is capable of existing in 4 polymorphic forms. They are the unstable gamma form melting at 18 degrees centigrade, the unstable alpha form melting at 22 degrees centigrade, the beta primer form melting at 28 degrees centigrade. The only stable beta form melts at 34.5 degrees centigrade. During the preparation of theobroma oil suppositories, if it is heated to a point at which it is completely liquefied, that is about 35 degrees centigrade, the nuclei of the stable beta crystals are destroyed and the mass does not crystallize until it is supercooled to 15 degrees centigrade. And due to this, the crystals that form after supercooling are of metastable gamma, alpha and beta prime forms. And the suppositories melt at 23 degrees centigrade to 24 degrees centigrade or at ordinary room temperature, which is unideal. Because they are heated to a point at which they are completely liquefied. When they are heated about 35 degrees centigrade, the nuclei of the stable beta crystals are destroyed. Because of that reason, the suppositories melt at ordinary room temperature, which is unideal. So in order to prevent that, the proper method of preparation involves melting theobroma oil at lowest possible temperature, that is about 33 degrees centigrade. When you melt it at 33 degrees centigrade, the mass is sufficiently fluid to pour, yet the crystal nuclei of the stable beta form are not lost. And when the mass is chilled in the mold, a stable suppository consisting of beta crystals that are melting at 34.5 degrees centigrade is produced. The other example is enhanced solubility. Polymorphs, also the metastable forms, have low melting points and they have high aqueous solubility. Therefore, they exhibit greater dissolution rate. The example is riboflavin. Riboflavin exists in form 1, form 2 and form 3. The riboflavin form 1 is the most stable form. It has a melting point of 291 degrees centigrade, but it has least aqueous solubility, 60. Whereas form 2 and form 3, the aqueous solubilities are 80 and 1200 times. So the form 3 like riboflavin has lowest melting point and it has the highest aqueous solubility. The metastable riboflavin form 3 has lowest melting point and highest aqueous solubility. Next is improved dissolution and enhanced absorption. If the solubility is enhanced, the dissolution rate is also increases and consequently the rate of absorption is also enhanced. The example is metastable polymorph of methylprednisolone. Form 2 has 1.4 times higher dissolution and 1.7 times higher absorption rate than the stable form 1. Only about 10% of the pharmaceuticals are present in their metastable form and about 40% of all organic compounds, they exist in their polymorphic forms, and about 70% of barbiturates and 65% of sulfonamides, even they exhibit polymorphism. Barbitol and methylparaben and also sulfapyridine can exist as many as 6 polymorphic forms. Barbitol, methylparaben and sulfapyridine can exist in as many as 6 polymorphic forms, and the corticosterone acetate that we have discussed earlier, it can exist up to 8 forms. At least 5 forms are there and it can go up to 8 forms. So this is the significance of polymorphism in case of pharmaceuticals. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for further videos on pharmacy related subjects.